What up, Nick Nation? It's your boy, Juby the Tubi. Salute to you guys in the chat. Happy Thursday, March 31st, 2022. I'm Juby the Tubi, Straight Talk Family above everything, and we're going to be joined by Zenray from Zenray Sports TV momentarily. The Knicks lose last night 125 to 114 to Charlotte, to the Hornets, excuse me. Behind LaMelo Ball and this guy, Miles Bridges with 31 points. Just tormented the Knicks. And Julius Randle, man, he had a post game, and I'm gonna share that with you guys briefly, and get your take on it on what you guys think. It's a 6 minute video, so we just listen to the first intro of it and see what you guys think. And have we judged him wrong all this time? The man is definitely going through some stuff, but after watching that video, I kind of felt bad. And just listen.
I mean, Lamelo's tough, man. He was in the paint a lot. Um, how many assists he have? I don't know, but yeah, he was in the paint a lot. And cutting. I don't know how many threes they made, but they're a good team.
There was a. I'm sure you heard about it. There was a local radio guy who said that after Monday
There's the report.
he went to
Laughs it off.
the train. I was wondering what your response to that was.
Who said it?
Dave Carton at WFAN.
Yeah, I mean it's just not true, bro. It's just not true. Um, it's as simple as that, bro. It's just not true at all.
I know you said a few maybe months ago that you want to be here long term.
If it ain't come from me, it ain't true.
How committed are you still to?
My answer ain't changing, bro.
Hmm.
I guess this season obviously hasn't gone the way anybody has wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the middle of it. Do you see things where change things in the offseason and you guys can get back to kind of competing the way you competed last year?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Everything's a lesson.
There it is.
You learn from experiences like these and just keep moving forward.
We've seen.
I'll play the rest of that for you guys in a minute. Again, salute to you guys. I'm Juby the Tubi, Straight Talk Family above everything. The Knicks are officially, if I'm not mistaken, eliminated from the play-in tournament. The season is over. We got to look forward to the off-season improvements. Whether Julius Randle is a part of that, that's to be determined. But stay tuned. I'll be back in 2 minutes with that and much, much more. Here we go, guys. What's going on? And let's continue listening
I didn't know
to.
that was a thing until y'all made it one.
He's talking about how he threw the ball and how.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate
Are
it.
we making too big of a deal of something like
Probably. I mean, but that's what y'all do, man. It's all good. I understand it. Come with the territory, bro. Probably something you should ask yourself, man. From the inside looking out, and that a lot of times you got to just kind of let your game do the talking and go from there. But like I said, man, I love the city. I love my family loves it here, and You know, I'm a Knick. That's what I love. I love being a Knick. So,
So these athletes that are,
well, and he doesn't understand what's going on. And
This is the part that was really
you
heartbreaking.
know, I got my 5-year-old son that's there and is obsessed with the game of basketball and loves the game of basketball, and he doesn't understand what's going on. And you know, that was probably my biggest frustration. You know, coming from him, um, you know, the time that I sacrificed from him uh, to to put into this game, and you know, he's daddy's little boy. He loves his dad. So for him to experience that and you know, him being uncomfortable and you know having to leave the games and stuff like that. As a father, that's what bothered me more than anything. But like at the same
Anybody
time,
would
like
be bothered by it.
you got to understand it comes with the territory. At the end of the day, the narrative can always flip. So I understand that. I understand it's New York City. I understand that's just what comes with it, and I understand how passionate our fans are. So you just kind of got to live with the everybody know.
Remember last year, it was around March.
But that's enough of that, guys. As you guys can see, man, he was really humbled. He spoke about a couple of things. He spoke about how, none of those reports are true about him asking for a trade or anything like that. And, that he's learned from a lot of things that went on this season. And, what hurt him the most is his son going through him getting booed and all this, the media stuff, because he's daddy's little boy. Any father would sit there and, go through the emotions that he's going through. So have we judged him the wrong way? I like to put myself in people's shoes, but still a lot of acts he did was uncalled for. But let's get Zenray in here from Zenray Sports TV, get his take on what he thought
Off the
about the
bench
season being
shows you
over.
how bad their defense was last night. Even Deuce McBride's defense, Lamola Ball was just doing whatever he wanted in the paint, out of the paint. He just penetrated. He shot from the outside. He passed the ball. He was just unstoppable. So the Knicks have a lot of work in the offseason. They have another 5 games left. Let's see what these young kids can do for us in the remaining games. Juby the Tubi, family above everything. Welcome, New York Straight Sports Talk. Welcome to Zenray Sports TV.
What's going on, Zenray? Appreciate you guys having me. Salute to you guys. Happy Thursday, man. March 31st already. Can't believe it. And unfortunately, the Knicks lose last night to Charlotte behind Miles Bridges and LaMelo Ball. The guys played spectacular. The Knicks defense was atrocious from the perimeter. Couldn't keep them in front of them, and they hit some difficult shots, man. What can you say? They're the better team. They deserve to be in the play-in or the playoffs. And right now we got some work to do, Zenray. But I'm humbled that the season's over. We can move forward, enjoy the last couple of games for what they are. And I know you shared this video, as I did with my viewers, with Julius Randle's post-game conversation last night. And I got to tell you, man, I hope everything he said in that interview was true. It sounds like he's very humbled and sticks to it. But what got to me was, we're both fathers, we're both family men. And, to him to say that his son went through that experience and it was the hardest part for him to get booed and his son not understand and get taken out of the garden.
He was crying at one point, from what I hear. He was crying. The mother had to take him out of the game. He was so distraught from hearing his father being booed.
And you hear stuff like that, and again, we as fans tend to forget that they're human beings. Also, they go through stuff, and I gotta tell you, man, I feel for the guy. Has he done some wrong this season where he should have kept his mouth shut? Yeah, but although he's 28 years old, it's still a learning process for him, and I'm glad. I'm glad I got to hear that little interview. I know you guys may say it's probably BS or it's just smoke, but it made me see Julius Randle in a different light. I got to be honest with you. What's your take on the whole interview? What did you get out of it?
I almost felt the same way. Like, I felt bad for him. At the same time, could it be like a pitch? He's trying to sell you something at the lemonade stand that isn't really lemons, or is it lemons? I mean, is he a card salesman? I don't know. I don't think he has that in him.
No.
I think the organization told him to choose his words very carefully. And if he did say it, he probably said it at the moment out of just anger. And he probably realized later on that he shouldn't have said it. Because when they asked him the question, you see how he put his head down, he smirked.
Yeah.
Like, and he
Um,
mentioned who said it. Um, I think there was some truth to it. I think that he has to win the fans back. And like he mentioned in the interview, the only way he's going to win the fans back is by his play. His action on the floor is going to determine his success here in New York. And he was kind of poking at the press a little bit. Yeah, you guys create all this. Like, you guys. He said, don't ask me. Ask yourself that, because he's trying to say you guys are creating this. He's trying to say the New York press is creating all that's happened to Julius Randle, which you have to take some blame yourself, Julius. If you don't put the thumbs down on the New York fans, Nick Nation, you opened up a can of worms. So now you created this atmosphere where you have a target in your back. The referees are after you. You have a target with the referees. Julius, you could have chosen your words better. I believe that the Knicks have to sell high, so he has to be on his best behavior this year. I see him coming back with the team unless Knicks get some crazy deal in return. But at this juncture, expect Julius Randle back, Juby.
Yeah, yeah. Well said, man. I'm totally on board with you. You know, we've been talking about him moving all season, and probably moving on from him. He states he loves New York. His family loves New York. He's happy to be a Knick. So, like you said, he said all the right things. And when you hear that, you say okay. And then he sits there and says that he's learned a lot this season about everything that he's gone through. And you hope that's true. You hope that he puts this behind him and says, "Listen, this is what I signed up for. It's not all going to be positive, sunshines and rainbows. There's going to be some cloudy days, but what doesn't break you makes you." We all heard that expression before. It's not how hard you fall; it's how good you get back up. And he can't turn it around. It all depends on him and how bad he wants it. Do I think there's still going to be a clutter in a lot of positions in this team? And do I think this team still needs to make a lot of moves? Absolutely. Whether Julius is a part of it or not, this team needs a revamp. There needs some position needs to be opened up. And now that there's only 6 games left, and it's pretty much a one shot in a million for us to make it into the play-in tournament, I guess maybe Knicks management can start looking at their players the last couple of games, evaluating on who's going to be here and who's going to be not. I think that's a great show that you and I need to sit down and get together and bring up the players on screen and give our opinion on who stays and who goes.
I totally agree. And getting back to Julius Randle's statement, or kind of press conference after the game press with the New York press. The one thing I really enjoyed what he said. He goes, "I'm made for this." In other words, he says, "I'm made for New York. I can handle this. I'm made for this. I can handle it." And I don't know if he's reassuring us or he's reassuring himself. But
Little bit of both. A little bit of both.
yeah, you want to hear that anyway. Look, I'm a forgiving guy, and I think most of Knicks Nation is in that forgiving mode. We're not going to forget. Now the ball is in your court, and let your actions take over, because what you speak could be smoke, but what you do on the court can glorify your name back in Nick Nation's hearts.
Absolutely. And I think that's the approach he needs to take. I think next season, or you know what? I think these next couple of games, I think his persona with his teammates, with RJ Barrett, I think when he made a statement that he didn't know that was a thing when he threw the ball and roughed the locker room. He says that the media blew it out of proportion, but it's body language, ladies and gentlemen. So he needs to just sit there, be there for his teammates, be involved, high fiving, and I think, like you said, Zenray, John Starks, lovable Nick, went 3 for 17. Patrick Ewing missed some layups and some shots. We forgave him. We hold him on this caliber of pedestal for former Knick players. So we forgive. We don't forget. We forgive. And I think we can do the same thing with Julius Randle.
I agree. So the Knicks lose last night, 125 to 114. So they technically got blown out. The Knicks in that fourth quarter, they were bombs away, and they couldn't really come back. The Knicks actually scored 31 points, but when the Knicks lost this game is in that second quarter, they only scored 24, and then they come into that third quarter giving up 33 points in the fourth quarter, giving up 34 points. You cannot let that happen. And then you let Kelly Oubre off the bench score 21 points. That should never happen. I think that was the nail in the coffin right there. You let him get 21 points. LaMelo Ball was doing anything he wanted. That perimeter defense is probably one of the worst I've seen in a while. I mean, especially when you have Fournier. Deuce McBride didn't look good defensively. RJ Barrett, he was lost. Miles Bridges was just getting open too many times. And defensively, the Knicks didn't look good yesterday. It wasn't one of the best defensive games, but you give them an excuse. You score 114 points. Most teams in the NBA who do score 114 points should win. The Knicks didn't do that. The Knicks had a lot of games this year where the Knicks scored more than 110 points, but let the team score more than 120 points or more. And that's what caused a lot of this problem with the team, because when you had a defensive front court of Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, we were getting torched every other night. And once again, talking about Fournier, 35 minutes of play, 30 points. But the night before, he only scored 5, and the night before that, he had 20 something. Look, he's an up and down player. That is going to get better with a point guard, hopefully. The Knicks have to maneuver something. The ball on Leon Rose's court, and Tom Thibodeau, I think, is a learning process from them, what happened this year. Not only on Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau, also you can throw Julius Randle. Hopefully they grow from this together and bring up a better product and get some players, addition by subtraction, and get some quality players, including a point guard that we dearly need, Juby.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the season. I don't know if they're going to play with the young kids, or if they're going to continue playing the same exact lineups that we've been seeing. I anticipate with them being officially, out of the play-in tournament in a sense. I would think that McBride, instead of getting 9 minutes, and Obi Toppin, instead of getting 12 minutes, that their numbers should go up. And then we might see RJ Barrett's numbers go down to 30 minutes, and Julius and Evan Fournier, because it's the right thing to do. I mean, what are you actually playing for? I mean, I understand that you want to win a game as a coach. You want to win every game, but you want to see what you have in your arsenal moving forward. We've seen Emmanuel quickly come into a different kind of player over the past month and a half. We've seen RJ Barrett after the All-Star break become the man who stirs the drink now, like we like to say, of New York City. And Evan Fournier is going to be Evan Fournier. As much as I would want him to go, I don't know if that's going to happen, and I'm okay with that. He's just a streaky shooter. When he's open, if you got a point guard that you surround him with, he can be deadly. If you get him that open shot, the guy can hit some shots, and he proved it last night where he scored 30. Was it 30, 35 or 30?
Yeah, 30 points, but he does more than shooting, Juby. That's what I like about him. He drives to the basket, he gets calls on the fouls, and he finishes at the basket very well. So that's very important to know. The things I need to see, or we need to see at Nick Nation, you hit it on the head. We need to see these youngsters play. So you have to give McBride at least 20 minutes a game, Toppin 20 minutes a game, Sims 20 minutes a game. Obviously, we lost a player again. Quentin Grimes seems to be out. He may be out for the rest of the season. We don't know what happened to him. But in any case, if he comes back, we need to also see 20 minutes of play from all these guys in the remaining of the five games, because technically, I think Atlanta won last night. Technically, I think at best we can tie. I think at best we can tie. I think, if I'm looking at the numbers right. But that's not going to happen. We got the tiebreaker, like Juby said. At this juncture, you prepare for next season. Like you mentioned, let's see what these young kids have with Toppin, McBride, Quentin Grimes, and Jericho Sims. And once you can evaluate that, now you can bring their value up. Toppin's value, I think personally, has gone up. He'll have some trade value. Fournier's value is up because he does score his 30 points. The Knicks don't have a point guard, so maybe that's a lot of reasons. Robinson is still up in the air. That is the key to this season. If Robinson stays or goes, if you had to take a guess, Juby, do you think the Knicks sign him to that extension, or you see him going elsewhere?
If I didn't see reports that his camp are looking for 80 to 90 million dollars, I would say they would work out some kind of agreement. But I honestly think it's the writing is on the wall. He wants 80 to 90 million dollars for over 4 years,
Crazy.
and I don't think the Knicks with R.J. Barrett, with Cam Reddish coming, gonna become a free agent. Would you pay Mitchell Robinson that kind of money, knowing what he can do? And I'm not saying he's not talented; he's very talented, block machine, rebounder. Or would you rather give that money to R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish, and you have somebody who can not be as good as him, which is Jericho Sims? I called him a poor man's Mitchell Robinson, and then add another piece. These are
Well, I
things
think,
that they got to think
I,
about.
yeah, no, I agree. I think the plan is if Mitchell Robinson was consistent every day, doing the same thing over and over again. Obviously, he's not consistent enough to pay him $22 million a year. It doesn't make sense for the Knicks organization to leap out. Can Sims do the same thing? Can Nolan Noel, who still have a year after next year and an option year after that, maybe you could start on Noel. Let him get healed up for the rest of the season this year, and get ready for next year, and have Sims come off the bench, and then you have the old reliable, being your third
Taj.
center, in spot minutes here and there. I can see that happening, and then you get something in return, a side in trade. Somebody is going to have to give you something in return, and it'll be interesting to find out what Leon Rose, Scott Perry, Worldwide West, and Brock Outler, can't even say his name, has in store for the organization and Nick Nation.
I agree. I don't know what route they're gonna take. I said it before. I don't know. I know they're big on assets, but at what point do you stop saying we have assets? Let's go out and get a bona fide player that can help this team. Let's surround R.J. Barrett and company with these talents. Or do you sit there and say, let's develop what we have from within, surround more youngsters, and hopefully Emmanuel Quickly and Obi Toppin and McBride and Grimes take it to the next step. There's a lot of decisions that are going to have to be discussed about this summer, and I'm pretty sure Tom Thibodeau is going to be involved in those discussions. Me personally, what I would like to see is I would like to see Julius make good relationships with R.J. Barrett and Obi Toppin. I really think in order for him to, like, I watch the games and I see when Obi Toppin does something, he doesn't praise him, he doesn't high five him. You don't see him mentoring him on the bench. I mean, for Christ's sake, you're the man, because Julius Randle is a great player, and Obi Toppin is he's not super young, but he looks up to people like Julius and everything. So I think that that's where he should start, is being there for his teammates. Forget about the fans. Like you said, his game will, once he starts playing games good, and once he's being there for his teammates and the coaching staff, the fans will embrace him. And as far as moves, we have a lot to talk about this summer. Just because our season's going to be over, this is New York. The media is crazy. Once they're officially eliminated, you better believe the rumors are going to start like hot fireworks.
I totally agree, and it's a lot of things to look forward to. At least, I mean, this is a learning season. We take this season, we sweep it underneath the rug, and we make sure we don't make the same mistakes. We make everyone on the team, on the coaching staff, in management accountable to what's happening. But getting back to the stats, Juby, I don't know if you could see my screen, but where the
Yep.
Knicks lost the game, they lost the game in the paint. And it tells you that they did whatever they wanted. So how true or how good is Mitchell Robinson when it comes to that defense? But it's not his fault when you have two weak links at the top of the key who's letting everybody drive down the lane. They had 68 points in the paint while the Knicks had 40. So they outscore you 28 points. Then you have a Kelly Oubre coming off the bench with 21. That's where we lost the game, Juby. If you look at everything else there, the turnovers,
Look at
almost
the
about even. We had
look at
14. They had
look at the
12.
assist. Look what it means to have a true point guard.
that tells you that's what we're missing, and that's where we can have Evan Fournier having a 30-point game, having a 35-point game. Julius Randle having a 21 game, could be having a 25-point game, and so on and so on. A point guard, and I think that's the only reason I like the guy from Dallas, because he has those intangibles. And even the guy from Indiana, Brogdon, where they don't need to score, they make other players better, or gets them in their spots, and that's what a true point guard we need. We have enough combo guards on this team, so we don't need another combo guard. We don't need a person. I mean, Brunson can shoot the ball and get points for you because he has done it while Luka was on the floor. But he's the type of player. He's a pass first, make another player get open and shoot. It's his last option for him. But his thing is to find the open man on the court. That's why Brunson interests me, and I wouldn't at this juncture doubt if the Knicks make Mitchell Robinson available to the Dallas Mavericks, put him out west, so we don't have to see him like in the division at all, and we get a Brunson back in return. I could see that happening. Brunson, his father used to be here. Yes, he's going to cost you between 18 and $20 million. Maybe the price tag might be high, but at this point, you need a point guard that can drive this ship and drive this team to the promised land.
Agreed. Another team to look out for is Indiana. You mentioned Brogdon.
Yeah.
As you guys
I like
know,
him.
Miles Turner has been rumored to be interested in coming to New York, and the Knicks have interested in Miles Turner. So maybe a Mitchell Robinson and another piece for a Miles Turner and a Brogdon, will be facilitated, and we can make it work. We get our point guard, we get Miles Turner, who for some reason the Knicks are crazy about. That just
He
baffles
had a
me.
bad year this year.
Yeah.
Totally bad year. But he was in trade rumors all year, was suffering from some injuries. That's something about him. He has Mitchell Robinson syndrome at times, where he's injured most of the time, and it affects his play. So we have to look at that very careful with a microscope before we make a move like that. But let's see what's happened. Offensively talented. I mean, he can score you points. He can shoot out in the perimeter. He can get the 3 point shot off as well. That'll be very interesting if you get a Brogdon and a Miles Turner here, and we just give up a Mitchell Robinson, and we give up another player, and maybe a draft pick. I think Brogdon's contract. I think he's making about $20 million a year. I think he signed his contract, so
Yeah.
he's making about 20. Miles Turner, I don't know if he signed the contract as of yet. I think he does have. So I mean, two hefty kind of contracts coming in. We just have to get some deadwood out there. I mean, Fournier probably is going to have to go if you bring those type of players in here, because Brogdon can score and he can pass the ball. So you have to get rid of Fournier's contract. Mitchell Robinson, maybe you can see Mitchell Robinson, Fournier, and a draft pick, and we get those players in here in New York.
And I would sign off on it. That's not a bad move. Like I said, guys, we're gonna have so much to talk about this summer. Don't get discouraged that the season is over. I don't want you guys to think that content is gonna kind of be lackluster now because the next season is over. We still got a lot of stuff going on. We still, Zenray still does a lot of stuff on his channel that I'm pretty sure he's gonna start focusing on this upcoming year, as I will myself. But like I said, we got some great shows in the near future. We're gonna touch up on the draft, some mock drafts. My partner's really good at that mock draft stuff. And I always like to hear his opinion because once he tells me, I go and I do my research myself. And we're gonna definitely do the who stays and who goes show. And that's going to be an interesting one because I'm pretty sure me and him are going to have a lot of players that we have that we want to stay, and we're also going to be, we're all going to have our own opinion on who should go. So it should be a lot of fun. It should be interesting. Our next game is against the Cleveland Cavaliers on Saturday. It's a 1 o'clock matinee. So if Zenray is available, we can finally do a Saturday same day show. We've been doing a lot of next game shows next day, so we can probably do it that afternoon if he's available, and we'll talk about if the young kids have gotten more playing time. We could talk about how Julius Randle is reacting, how he's adjusting. We know Derrick Rose just announced officially that he's done for the season. They announced it yesterday officially. If you guys haven't saw that, which we knew, we announced it a couple of shows back, but we knew it already. So A lot of stuff to look forward to, Zenray. I don't know. Me, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I don't know if you have anything that you want to touch up on.
No, I'll see you on Saturday after the matinee game at 1. We'll go from there against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm looking forward to watching the game. And let's see Julius Randle be on his best behavior and just, minimize the minutes for him and make him understand, look, we want to win the game. We also want to see the rookies play and the young people play. And I hope Fournier feels the same way. Let these young kids play. Let's see what we have, and maybe we can have some trade chips there available to make some trades and get some positive reinforcement players the need that we need. But I think a lot has to do with Mitchell Robinson and Fournier probably involved in some kind of deal because you have to match money. If we're going to get some big high contracts in return, there's only 2 high contracts right now in the Knicks. That would be Julius Randle and Evan Fournier, who lead the pack in terms of contract money. With that said, Juby, it was a pleasure having you on once again. Everyone around the world, people in the Ukraine, we're still in prayer and hopeful that everything gets better soon. Never give up, Nick Nation. Never give up. Everyone around the world, people in New York, our backyard, never give up, knowing that the best is yet to come as long as you have love, peace, and gratitude. Juby, Zenray out.
Sounds good,
I'll
brother.
see you on Saturday, okay?
Sounds good, brother. And just remember, guys, family above everything. Enjoy your day. Be safe. And we'll see you Saturday afternoon.
See you then. Zenray out. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. That was Zenray with Zenray Sports TV. We'll be back Saturday, post-game after the matinee. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if Julius is on his best behavior. We'll see if the players got a lot of playing time. It's going to be an interesting offseason for sure. I'm Juby the Tubi. Thanking you guys for watching. If you guys catch the replay after we are offline, don't forget to hit that thumbs up for your boys. Leave a comment down below. What's your expectations for this summer? And remember, guys, you don't have to be blood to be family. And as always, family above everything. Stay safe, guys. Peace.
We are the New York Knicks. 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 Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. We're back on track, here we come. League is under 21 and the Knicks are on a run. And I'll tell you with Tim, we habitual.